The sea was screaming, not crashing, not whispering. Screaming. 9 waves rose at once, clawing at the moon, white foam glowing like ghost fire in the dark. No ship. No storm. Just water twisting against itself as if the ocean had gone mad. And, in the center of it, a child, golden, unburned by salt, unbroken by tide. He didn't cry. He listened. 9 women stood in the surf, identical, ancient, their hair braided with seaweed and bone, their hands slick with brine. 9 mothers, 1 son. They called him Heimdall. And here's the impossible part. This child would grow to hear grass grow, to see for 100 leagues, to guard the rainbow bridge against the end of the world itself. But how does one god have 9 mothers? And why would the sea need to give birth to a sentinel? This isn't just a strange myth. It's a warning.
Unveil the legends.
Before Heimdall ever opened those luminous eyes, the gods were already afraid. Odin wasn't just a king. He was obsessed, paranoid. He tore out his own eye for knowledge, but knowledge only fed the fear. He saw Ragnarok everywhere, in every shadow, in every whisper of wind. Thor, a hammer with a heartbeat, rage first. Questions never. And Loki smiled too much. Asgard glittered with gold, but beneath it ran cracks. The giants watched. From the frost-bitten edges of the world, they remembered old wars. They waited. Peace was a performance. The gods knew something was coming, something unstoppable. They needed a watcher, not a warrior, not a drunk god of thunder, not a trickster with a knife behind his back. They needed someone who would never sleep, never blink, never doubt. And so they turned to the oldest force of all, the sea. The ocean does not negotiate. It takes. It drags sailors into its throat and grinds kingdoms into sand. So when Odin walked to the black edge of the world, he didn't come as a king. He came as a desperate father. The sky hung low, clouds bruised purple. The smell of salt and rotting kelp choked the air. No stars, no witnesses. Even the wind seemed afraid to move. He called to the 9. They rose slowly, not together. One by one, each wave taller than the last. Each woman formed from foam and fury. Hair like streaming tide. Eyes pale as drowned moons. Their skin shimmered with shifting currents. As if fish swam beneath it, they circled him. No kneeling. No reverence. Odin spoke of giants sharpening weapons in the dark. Of prophecies carved into bone. Of a wolf that would swallow the sun. His voice stayed steady. His heartbeat did not. The sisters listened. Their faces revealed nothing. Then the sea went still. That was the answer. They joined hands, and the tide reversed. Water pulled away from shore as if the world inhaled. The seabed glistened. Black stones, writhing eels, the skeleton of something ancient. Crabs scrambled in confusion. The sisters began to chant. Not in words, in pressure, in vibration. A sound that crawled into Odin's skull and scraped. Their bodies swelled, with light beneath their skin. Blue, then white. Veins glowing like lightning, trapped in flesh. No 9 months, no fragile waiting. Creation here was violent. The first scream tore the clouds open. The second split the water. By the 9th, the sea boiled. Foam turned red. The smell of iron cut through the salt. Something stepped forward. Not carried, not cradled. Walking. A child already steady on his feet. Skin bright as sunrise on steel. Hair pale gold. Eyes wide, unblinking. He did not wail. He listened. To the wind shifting miles away. To fish scattering in panic. To Odin's pulse hammering with relief and dread. 9 mothers breathed hard behind him. Their expressions were not tender. They looked emptied. The sea had given birth. But it had not given a son, It had forged a weapon, and weapons are never born without a cost. We're told Heimdall was a guardian, a noble sentinel placed at the edge of the Rainbow Bridge, Gjallarhorn resting in his grip. Loyal, pure, untouched by corruption. That's the official story, but look closer. 9 mothers, 9 waves. Old sailors feared the 9th wave most, the last in a sequence. The one that rose higher, struck harder, dragged everything back. With it, you could survive 8, the 9th killed you. Heimdall wasn't just born from the sea. He was the pattern of inevitability inside it, a rhythm, a countdown. Think about his traits. He needs almost no sleep. He hears wool growing on sheep. He sees beyond the curve of the earth. He tastes the moisture in the air and knows where storms will form. This isn't protection, it's surveillance. Odin didn't ask for a son. He engineered certainty, a being who would detect betrayal before it formed, a god who could monitor every tremor in the 9 realms. Heimdall stands at Bifrost not as a hero, but as a sensor, an organic alarm system grown from salt and fear. And what does constant vigilance do to a mind? Isolation? Hyper-awareness? Suspicion? Imagine hearing every whisper in Asgard, every lie, every doubt. The scrape of a blade being sharpened in secret. The hitch in Loki's breath before a trick. Silence would be impossible. Rest would be torture. Heimdall belongs nowhere. Not fully Aesir. Not sea giant. He has no hall of laughter. No love story sung in firelight. Only a post. A horizon. Endless waiting. In some tellings he descends to Midgard and fathers the classes of men. Thrall, Carl, Jarl. He doesn't just guard order. He installs it. A divine architect of hierarchy. That detail matters, because Heimdall's existence reflects Odin's deepest terror, loss of control. The sea, chaotic and feminine in its mythology, is forced to produce structure. 9 wild forces synchronized into one obedient watcher. But waves are never obedient. And if Heimdall is the 9th wave, the final surge, then his purpose was never to prevent destruction. It was to signal its arrival. He doesn't stop Ragnarok. He completes the sequence. 8 warnings, 8 rising tensions. Then him, the last wave, the breath before the plunge, the sound before the world goes under. Ragnarok comes anyway. Of course it does. All that watching, all that listening. And still the wolves break their chains. The sky splits. The sea vomits up Jormungandr. Heimdall raises Gjallarhorn. The sound rips across the 9 worlds. A note so pure it feels like bone snapping inside the soul. This is what he was born for. This moment. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't run. Across the battlefield of gods and monsters he finds Loki, not smiling now. The Trickster and the Watcher lock eyes. Opposites, chaos and control. They kill each other. No grand speech. No mercy. Steel. Blood. Silence. The Guardian dies doing his job. And here's the irony. He was created to prevent the end. But his horn doesn't stop Ragnarok. It announces it. The very thing Odin feared most becomes inevitable the moment Heimdall fulfills his purpose. The Watcher ensures the apocalypse. Fear created the alarm. The alarm guaranteed the war. That's the cruel symmetry of myth, and maybe of life. A child born from 9 waves became the sound of the end. That's the story. But here's the darker truth. When we create guardians out of fear, we also create the future we're afraid of. Heimdall stood at the edge of the world, listening for monsters. But monsters were already growing inside Asgard. So, here's the question. If you were born for one purpose, would you break it or let it define you? Drop your answer below. And if you think a god born from 9 mothers is disturbing, wait until you hear about the child Loki gave birth to. Yes, Loki, because the next story isn't about a guardian. It's about a father who birthed a nightmare that would swallow the sun. And that is where things get truly mythic.